What's up, guys? Eric here for Liquid Fan TV, and today we've got the post Epicenter Major show, and it's going to be a big one. We've got roster changes, tournament placement, the lead up to TI, so get ready to talk about everything Team Liquid for the last major of the DPC season. Alright, so before we really get into the tournament, we of course have to talk about the roster change. And it was definitely unexpected. I don't think any fan really thought there was going to be a roster change, especially so close to the major, let alone TI coming up. So it was really unexpected, but overall I was relatively confident with Weehaw. He's a really good player. He's been in 2 major grand finals, one of them actually beating Team Liquid at Shanghai, and he's a TI grand finalist. So the experience is there, he's got a wide hero pool, and I was just really confident going into the tournament. And placement aside, because I wasn't really too concerned with placement this tournament, I really wanted to make sure that the fundamentals of a good squad were there. I wanted to make sure that it looked like the communication was on point, the playstyle that we were going with looked like something we could really reform and build on going into TI, and I wanted to make sure that the confidence was there. And right off the bat, it was. We absolutely dominated our group, 2-1 against Gambit, 2-1 against EG, and I don't think anybody really would have predicted us to be first seed going into that group, especially after EG came like second at Birmingham. We made a roster swap. I think people were expecting them to be on top, but we showed immediately that we're an incredibly strong team. Top 5, arguably even top 3 after leaving that group stage, just based off the Dota we played there. And it really propelled us into the playoffs. We were very confident going into the playoffs, and going back to the whole, I want to make sure the confidence is there, it was immediately shown in game 1. Miracle picks up a rapier against LGD. He doesn't really have to close out the game. Obviously, he feels like it'll help them close out the game, but it definitely wasn't a necessity to win the game. And that just kind of showed me that, yeah, he's got a lot of confidence in the squad. Of course, GH, Kuroki, and MC are the same players, but he's not really afraid that Weehaw's going to make an aggressive play or a misplay in a team fight that's going to potentially cost them the team fight and the rapier. So I was really happy to see that. And I also saw that the communication was there and kind of the general idea that they're all on the same page. There was a lot of fights where maybe it looked like we're on the back foot, we're down a hero, or our heroes are a little bit low. We don't have the cooldowns that we want to use to fight, but we saw like Weehaw going in, and he's this TA, he's this Wind Ranger, he's bursting a target, he's setting up a shackle, and we're turning the fights around. And that's really good. That shows that they're on the same page. It shows that as a squad, they're already clicking with Weehaw. So with the roster change speculation aside, we can start to look at how we played throughout the tournament. And like I said before, in the group stage we did really well, 2-1 Gambit, 2-1 EG, and we really carried that momentum into the playoffs. So we had a 2-0 against LGD, we had 2-1 against Virtus Pro, and the 2 wins that we had were actually sub 25-minute wins. So really it was a stomp all the way up into the winners bracket finals. And the one thing that I found kind of interesting was that teams weren't really banning heroes that we were favoring. They were just kind of banning what they felt was strong in the meta. And we were getting away with Iro Gyro or Ember Magnus or the TA, the Wind Ranger, sometimes even the Chen. And it was a little bit reminiscent of TI7 when we were picking these heroes that weren't necessarily in the meta, but we were confident on them, we were comfortable, we were putting up huge showings, and it took a little bit for the tournament to finally catch up and start banning these heroes against us. And one of the important things here, because we did just make this change, is Miracle. So Weehaw was a little bit pigeonholed in what he played. He was only really given the Wind Ranger, the TA, and those were kind of the picks that we tried to stick to as often as possible. And they were the really standout picks. Obviously, he's great on these heroes. He's confident on them. But I would have liked a little bit more flexibility there. I think a lot of that is chalked up to the 10 days of practice that we had. We didn't really get to try out all these different play styles or practice all these different play styles. So if those heroes were left in the pool, we probably just gravitated towards them a little bit. But Miracle kind of stepped it up. He played 12 unique heroes, and he had fantastic games on almost all of them. Gyrocopter, Ember Spirit, Arc Warden, Anti-Mage. I think almost any time he played a game, there were highlights that I could pick from his. So I was really happy with how he played. And he's also kind of giving us this hero pool that is now starting to be second phase ban worthy. So if we just quickly go back to MDL, we saw him playing this Morphling, and people started banning it in the second phase, sometimes even the first phase, because he was just so good at it. It was just a hero that we would pick, and he would perform no matter what. And we're starting to see that again at Epicenter with this Arc Warden. And this is something that's kind of important for us, because it actually gives us a little bit more room for those last 3 picks, so it gets second phase banned, and maybe we weren't even thinking about it, but now we've got room to pick heroes that potentially would have been banned, but Miracle's really confident with, this is this hero I want to last pick and carry the game with, and we've got a little bit more space there. So I was really happy with that, and that also leaves us open to perhaps the last pick, Weehaw Meepo, which we do see every once in a while. It's something people have to consider. We saw it against LGD. That last pick, gave us the 2-0, and they absolutely stomped that game.
Meatball! You may now select your heroes.
And now we can start looking at the MVP of the tournament, as well as what I thought was one of the best plays of the tournament. So MVP, I went back and forth between Weehaw, GH, and Miracle quite a bit as I was rewatching the games, but I actually settled on Weehaw, and it wasn't just down to performances throughout the tournament, but it was actually came down to what Weehaw's performance meant in the grand scheme of things. So he gets added roughly 10 days before the major, and he comes out and he performs amazingly right in the group stage. Against EG, 2-1 for us. He's something like 27-1 and 32. I think he had like 3 less kills than Arteezy and Sumail combined throughout that series, which is absolutely insane because he jumps into this tier 1 roster that just previously got second, and he's already performing like he's been in the roster for a year or 2 years, whatever it may be. And it feels really comfortable. Not only that, but it gives us a lot of confidence going into the rest of the tournament because, you know, you beat this team like EG, who just came second at ESL Birmingham, and you're really comfortable with the rest of the tournament from there on out. You know your play style is working, you know your drafts are working, and even though his hero pool was a little bit weaker, he performed really well on those heroes, and the TA actually became a first ban for a lot of teams, which opened up the draft a little bit more for us down the line. So I thought Weehaw's performance was great, given the fact that he literally jumped into the team like 10, 12 days before, whatever it was, and he still managed to put up some huge numbers.
You'll never know the mysteries.
And this is a pretty good segue into the last portion of the video, which is what I thought was one of the best plays of the tournament. And it wasn't necessarily the most mechanically proficient play or, you know, the most complex play, but I thought it was really important just in our run, and it did show a lot of really good communication from the squad. So this happens in Game 2 against EG. Miracle and Mind Control get picked off as Weehaw gets a nice little pick onto Sumail, follows up his blink, and just gets the focus fire to secure the kill. And then back over here, we can see GH and MC keeping Kuroki alive and just kind of kiting out the fight a little bit to allow Weehaw time to reset. They're doing a great job. They use the disruption to start off with the kiting against Arteezy, a little bit of a shackle shot, and then from here on out, it's just kind of heals, overcharge, and just targeting, where Arteezy can't really find anybody to stick on. He eventually turns around. Down at the bottom of the screen here, we see Weehaw get a nice shackle onto S4, secures that kill. Unfortunately, they can't get Arteezy, but they do follow up. They chase Fly. GH is going to get a tether up onto MC here. He's going to use the urn, and we see Weehaw down from off of our screen is going to secure it with a really nice power shot. So, again, really happy with the squad. I think we've got a lot of potential going into TI, and I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I hope if there's any Dota 2 fans, they enjoyed a little bit of analysis, and even non-Dota 2 fans, I hope you guys got a good look into the squad, and I hope you stick around for all the future content I make. So thanks again for watching.